today's Thursday, the 4th of December, and I just want to go over a trade I took today. And I want to keep it short and sweet, but I also want to try and give as much info as I can. The reason for that is because people keep messaging me asking me for info on the strategy and how they should enter and why did I enter trades. So I want to just do a quick breakdown of this trade. This is what I would class as a continuation trade. Okay. And the reason for that is, as you can even see off this daily level, is the daily internal range was tagged on Tuesday. Okay. And this trade didn't happen till Thursday. But there is a reason for that, and I'm going to break it down when I jump into the 1 hour. Okay. So even just looking now, okay, before I jump down onto that 1 hour chart, if we ignore this daily candle as this is printing live, we can see that we have relative equal lows here. Okay. So you have this low at 1.39384, and then you have this external range low at 1.39382. Okay. So down here where I have liquidity target marked out, which would be my external range, but I'd rather just leave it as liquidity target because it's relative equal lows. We know that we have a low that didn't raid the external range, okay, which is this low down here, okay. So coming into this session here in New York, there was reasoning and planning before that even happened, okay. So in Asia, when I woke up this morning to look at London, I could see that we'd raided Asia's high, okay, here just before London. So going into London, I was looking to see if we could get an engulfing candle to the downside and then obviously take a trade, the same trade we took here, but during London. Okay, as you can see, that didn't play out. There was no bearish engulfing candle. Price sort of consolidates around. And then during the gap between London and New York, we start to push higher, okay? So what was I looking for before I even came onto the charts to enter a trade? I was talking to the boys in the Discord and posting in my journal for myself what I expected. Okay, so what I was expecting to see is during London, obviously we created London high, we've taken out Asia and the previous New York AM. Okay, we've left London's high and Asia's high over here. Okay, so in this little gap, you see that we raid the current London high, previous day's London high, and we left this Asia high. Okay, so now what happens is the start of New York opens. Okay, and we get this candle here. The high is 1.39754. If you come over to this Asia high, we've got 1.39754. That is engineered liquidity. Okay, and what I mean by that, that is how the markets work. It will have a liquidity level where it will turn the market. Okay, and I don't want to get too into it because people that know how I trade would understand this sort of stuff anyways. But this is engineered liquidity, okay? So it's relative equal highs. So at this point in time, 7 a.m., New York session's just started. What I'm looking to see is, do we get an engulfing candle, okay? So coming into 8 a.m., obviously 7 doesn't provide it. We sweep the high, close back in the range. We don't get the engulfing, so we don't take the trade, okay? And what we done was as well was leave the relative equal highs. So going into this hour, I was expecting this high, these relative equal highs, to get raided, okay? So going into the hour, we had red folder news, okay, at 8:30 in the morning, which was 1:30 UK time. And just before that red folder news, I put a quote or put a note into the journal saying, if we can get a raid of the highs and see price do the bearish engulfing, we would sell off like a rocket, is what I said. Okay. And obviously, it looks good now as I'm saying that, but this is printed out at 1:37. I can show it in my journal at the end of the video. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. So what happened during the news is we seen price raid up at the start of the hour to raid this engineered liquidity, the relative equal highs, okay, and the previous day's Asia session, okay. Now people say, well, why did this high not get raided? Because yes, it's a swing point, but it has no valid reason to be swept at this point. You've taken the current day's high and yesterday's previous day's high as well. Okay, so that's what this level is as well. It's not just the Asia high, it's also the previous day's high. Once we sweep that and close back below, going into the 9 a.m. candle, so 2 p.m. UK time, all we wanted to see was the engulfing, and it has to sweep previous days, some sort of liquidity sweep, okay, which you had the previous day's high, Asia level, current day's high. There was multiple reasons why, and these are all confidences to tick. So coming in, all we need to do now is enter on the new candle open. Now, I entered on a few accounts. Price obviously doesn't give you the perfect entry through spread, slippage, and whatnot. So this is where we got in, okay? Now, long as I can get over a 1 to 2 R on a trade, I'll take the opportunity to trade it, okay? And certain accounts I'll let run to the full external range. Some accounts I'll take 2% once it hits 2R. That's all just dependent on your own strategy and what you back tested. But as far as I'm concerned with this strategy, as soon as price hits 2R, you can normally take at least 50% off the table, go break even, be risk free. You've locked in some profits, okay? But regarding this trade, the fact that we was only 2.7R away, only 0.72R away from 2R anyways, I just let the trade run to the full TP. And then on my live 200K, where I confirmed £2,000 profit, I did in fact close at 2R, okay? So the trade was pretty simple. Other than that, we've had the sweep of liquidity. We've swept previous day's high and the previous Asia session as well. Current day's high has also been swept. We had that bearish engulfing candle, and then price did indeed sell off like a rocket. Okay, now there's a reason we've done this. Okay, and the reason I say it's a continuation setup is because we didn't sweep external range. Now, if we'd have swept external range down here, this wouldn't even have been valid, okay, unless we'd have created a new internal level to go off. Because we're always going from daily internal to external. And now, as long as there is an internal to external range, we can look to trade the 1 hour chart. Long as there's a level we're going to target. And what I mean by that is if we've gone internal and price hasn't swept the external range yet, you can still look for a scalp inside here, an intraday trade or whatever you want to call it. Okay, you can look for a trade and an entry down here. Okay, or in the candle, the current day candle. Okay, so if we just jump onto my Discord now, I can show you a couple things. I can show you my chat where obviously I spoke to members of the group and obviously was shouting out what I was seeing at the time. And then I can also show you my journal and how I journal things going forward. And I want to and how I want to obviously make sure that everything's noted down for myself. Okay. So if we come back to, let's see, obviously there's a lot of chat. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, so obviously you can see here, I'm even shocked at how fast it moved. Where's that part that I actually wanted to show? I can't even find it. So yeah. Yeah, right, okay, so we found it. So this is what I wanted to show, obviously, look. So if we click up to here, relative equal lows, engineered liquidity, came back up and will sell off like a rocket. Hopefully I'm in. Now that's at 137, just after the news has created the high and it's started to engulf, okay? As you can see, one of the members here, this engulfing better form properly. Then obviously we go on to say that the engulfing did form, and yes, I'm in, okay? It's here, USD CAD. This is how it looked when I got into the trade. Okay, so there's no fugazi. We take trades live around here. We do it. I make a living off trading. There's no mentorship. There's no nothing. This is all free knowledge, and video is mainly for everybody that knows me, anyways. Okay, so obviously we've got this trade entry. Now, if I come over to my own journal over here, okay, I can show you. Let's dismiss this. I can actually show you if I go to open in full mode exactly what I was seeing. Okay, so this is all based on the trade that we just took that I just explained. Okay, so we got the trade. Again, here's an example of what I was looking at. You can see that engulfing candle really clean. Daily level, internal to external, still valid. And then entry. Reasons for the trade. We have respected the daily internal gap and then pushed lower. When thinking the move was done and gone without us, we have missed the external drawn liquidity. So we have pulled back today and swept a good level of liquidity in the opposing direction in the previous day's high and session highs, and have had the engulfing candle. So I have entered if the bias is correct from the daily and we sink off, we should sell fast. This is at 2 p.m. Okay. If we jump up at that point in time, if we go down, okay. So let's pull this back. Start anew. So 2 p.m. would be 9:02. Okay. This is where we're sitting when I'm saying that. Okay. I've just entered the trade at this point in time. Okay. So this is where we're sitting. I've just entered the trade. Now, Why am I so confident? Well, because you have multiple levels of liquidity. You have this London low, you have this Asia low, you have this swing point that on the 1 hour is also a swing point. And with confidence, it's all about trusting your data, okay? I have hours and hours and hours, months, years worth of data that I've gone through and studied to check that this strategy works, and it does. There's about a 70% win rate on the strategy, okay? And it's very simple. Yes, you might have to wait, and yes, you might only get one or two a week. Sometimes you might have even less, but the strategy is really good. And when it does work, it's fast. Look, an hour and a half, and we smashed it. So we come back over here. Obviously, we'll insert the daily below now. We show the daily level as it was forming. You can see we have indeed not swept the relative equal lows. Okay, and that's what we're looking at. Most people would see this as like a consolidation. They're not going to touch it. Our price has probably been swept on the broker or on another broker, no problem. I take all opportunities that are presented to me that meet my plan. Okay, so yeah, this is where we was at about 202 or 220. No, it was about 205, and then less than 20 minutes in, and we're floating 1% profit. So again, examples of where price is live on the charts. My alert went off. We struck 1R. Again, showing live executions of the trades. Okay, and showing myself for future reference. This is on the live 200k account, moving just above, just below break even to cover for spreads and cost of the trade. And then this is our TP. Okay. Just like that, floating 1k on a live 200k, and we're going break even. FTMO, I'm letting it run as it's a phase one account. Okay, so it's very simple how I journal. I just make sure that when I come back, there's nothing stupid that doesn't make sense. It's all stuff that's relevant to the trade. It's all stuff that's relevant to my strategy, and it's all stuff that's relevant for me if we get a blind spot in trading, as you do when you go a little bit brain foggy, you don't trust your strategy, you start to have a bad patch. It's good to be able to come back and look at trades that move fast to regain that confidence. Okay, so something I also do is every hour I always try to journal what the trade's doing. Okay, so this is, as you can see, well, actually you can't see. Oh yeah, you can. 9:59. So this was actually 1 second before the new hour printed. Oh yeah, here 1 second before the new hour printed. I took a screenshot and then obviously expected price to maybe linger around and continue slowly down. But what obviously did happen is price absolutely ran down super fast in the next hour, which you can see, and it absolutely smashed to TP within about 30 minutes of this image. Okay, oh, not this one, of this image. Okay, so if you see here, what we are at 9:59, basically 10 a.m. and yeah, 10:27 a.m. Okay, so and then we have our balance sheets, so 5,000 on the FTMO and £2,000 profit, obviously minus swap and commission and so on and so forth. Real trading has that, unfortunately, it's just what it is. This is a break-even trade we took previously, and obviously locking in a nice £2,000 trade. As for journaling, I do recommend keeping a track of your entries, keeping a track of your daily internal to external levels, and any sort of information that you feel will give you an edge when you go back to back test, because obviously having the data there means you can study, and when you're having them blank spots and then moments where you are having brain fog, it's good to be able to go back over data. You regain the confidence, and then you can start to take trades that run like this again. This is not something that I haven't seen before. Okay, obviously you can see it up here. Technically, if you had this engulfing candle, you have got a big move down here. Okay, there is also another trade on USD CAD that if anybody would like to can go back and find. It was literally last week, last Friday. So you can find it, go back, send it in to me if you want. It's very simple. Using my strategy, I did take the trade. So yeah, you can find the trades, and it's very simple to use this strategy. So when they move, they move. You can see these moves. It's two candles here, it's two candles here. Now they're not random. They're from daily levels, okay, and that's why they do it. So go back and back test the strategy. It's really powerful. Obviously, you can start locking in profits like this. It's really good, and I'm there to help anybody who wants the information to do so. Just give me a message, join the Discord, and let me know.